Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, the content of today actually is leading us to solve four tasks, four topics differently. The first one, actually, we are going to go behind for implementing the copy constructor. It's a new feature for us, but it's simple to understand and simple to deploy also. The purpose behind is to initialize a circle center, a dot in the surface, and initialized and display the coordinates. So let's dig in. Let me open the compiler first of all from the online. Great. So from here, actually, we are going to start our implementation. Since actually the task is asking us to initialize the center of a circle, and we have to follow the technique, which is actually using a copy constructor. So 100%, we are going to use a class, the copy constructor, sorry, constructor to initialize a circle, let's say center point. Great. So here also it's a command. So in this program, we're going to do all the necessary to initialize the circle center, and we have to deploy that using the copy constructor. Copy constructor, we said, not constructor. We talk about copy constructor. So let's create a class responsible for initializing the center, and after we'll use the copy constructor. So class, I'm going to say circle center as per the task request. I'm using the same name. Good. Inside of this circle, I'm going to specify int x and int y. Those are the coordinates. The position number 1, position number 2. Actually, those were I'm going to define them as public, and I'm going to define as private. Yes, private. I'm going to declare one method to initialize those two. I'm going to use a function int get xy. In here, I'm going to say int a, int b. We start here and close here. In between, I'm going to say x equals a and y equals b. Please. So we create a function that has two parameters. First parameter, we are going to pass it as a value to the x, and the second parameter, we are going to pass as a value to the y. Done. Let me do a display of this this content saying that the xy is the position of the circle center. So simply see out. There is a mistake here. The circle center is less than x less than faster, comma less than y less than that. Great. What is the mistake here? Is that we are calling x and y while they are not declared here. We are trying to call those x, y, and y's. Those are belonging to the class. We cannot call them inside the main. So we have to change the syntax into object call, drew an instance. So I'm gonna create an instance from this class. I'm gonna say C or ZC in the circle center. And here I'm gonna type cc dot x, and here cc dot y. Okay, execute now. Everything is fine. Now I have an issue related to the semicolon and the curly brace. Circle center cc. Return 0. After class definition. So here, yes, we forgot the password. So the semicolon. Execute. The circle center is 0, 0. Very easy. Why? Because actually we did not initialize the x and y. Let's do that. Before this cout, I'm gonna use the cc object to reach the method get xy. This method here. I'm gonna say 5, 6. This is the method we need. And 5 for the A, 6 for the B. Semicolon. Let's execute again. At the beginning was 0, 0. 0, 0 here. Execute. I have an error. Declared private. So this one has to be changed to public. Don't sleep, be with me. And yes, circle center is 511. 56, sorry. It's 11. Whatever. You're not making that issue. Any questions here, please? We completely solved the task in 2 different ways, but still we did not manifest the copy constructor. Okay. As per the definition, the constructor initializes the status and sets the behavior. Those are the status, and this is the behavior. So here, inside the class after the public in the method area, I'm going to create a constructor. Mistake. Circle. Center, it's a constructor. So enter. Okay, int A, sorry, int B. Here we start, and here we end. Okay. There is space here. Good. So int A, int B. I'm going to say x equals A, semicolon, B equals C also. Depends on your method. Done. I'm going to execute before I do anything else. I have an issue. C is not. Why? It's not. Here actually is Y, and here's B. Let's see. Good. Forbidden declaration. Of circle center with no type. Circle center A, B. Yeah, because it's not the same. It's not the same name. Circle. They have to add an E. That's great. Now let's execute. هذا errors. Great. What is in the mail? CC. We cannot access error non-matching function. Call center, circle center. Yeah, because actually it is parameterized. So I'm going to say new, the same word, copy, paste. We replace int A with an int, and int B with a B, with an int. Yes, so execute now. One issue. Circle center, CC new circle center. Conversion from circle center to non-scalar type circle center. What is the error here? Regardless, I'm going to immediately give you the solution here because actually I'm not seeing any issue. Okay. So actually, circle center. It does not have to show the issue actually. See the same, but again, this computer is locked. Yes. Okay. Let me give you the solution. Actually, this computer, it works and stops. I'm going to change those variables to be private in order to reach them only through the constructor or any other functional procedure. So the circle center is the name of the class. And I'm going to use two different, let's say, variables. I'm using those parameters. And I'm going to initialize the local variables, the x and y. He actually just to return a value, I'm going to say return what? X. Sorry. It's enough, return 0. Very easy. Or I'm going to just change it to a procedure to avoid, because we have two values, so to make it more simple, void, and there is no return. Great. So let's execute. I have more than one error now. CC dot. I'm making spelling mistake. I'm not going to specify this thing here. Okay, so center no matching function because we have to have the constructor called. Here actually I'm declaring first actually constructor that has two parameters, and I'm using those two values statically 5 and 10. This you see in which line it's indicated here. Circle center is, yes, here it is. cc.x. Yeah, because they are private, you cannot call them. How to solve that? Simply just create get x here. Are you following me step by step? You understand what I'm doing? And I'm going to do get y. Here I'm going to say, for example, b. Only b here. And here only a. Return here the x. And here return the y. Okay, great. They are public. They are under the public section. Good. So here the circle center x value is c.x. That's it. Yeah. And I'm going to redo the same statement. Okay. The circle center y value is cc dot, same spelling. Execute. Great. Get xy, we don't have any get xy. We have x and here, and we have y. Yes. So x, no, declared private, c.x. Yeah, exactly, because we have to use get x here and get y here. I'm going to copy. change this one 6, for example. Paste those two. No need. Execute. And still have an error. Now let's start with the first. No match operator. Well, yes, exactly. Let's execute now again. Still. Where we are getting this error? Which line? 30 is line. Yeah, exactly, because it is a procedure. This procedure, it has to return. I'm gonna say int, and here return y. Return y. And here it's an int, and return x semicolon. Let's execute. Okay, the circle center x value is 5. The circle center y value was 6. Okay, the 5, the 6. We use the constructor to initialize, and I'm going to use now a copy construct also to initialize, but it's a little bit different. Constructor still preserves the same properties, which is actually, it has to have the same name as the class, the same name, and no data type before. There is no int, no void, no char, no string, nothing. And since it is a copy constructor, it has to have a parameter, one parameter, from the same type as the class. It is a copy from the class. So here we are going to use an object from the class, to say C, for example, any name, and this thing here, it has to be constant. So we use the keyword const, and we're not going to use a variable like it is, a pointer like it is, whatever, or an object, an instance like it is. No, we need its address. It's addressed like this. So we can give a process here without any issue. The point is that we're going to use this C to initialize those two values here. Since the C is something similar to this object, this class, so it is having the same structure as the class. Let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to say x, which is this x. To initialize it, equals C, sorry, equals this C here, dot x. What is the x? It is the x from the C, not from the circle, from this one here. So it is the one from the C. So because of this, I use C dot x. And the same way for the y. I'm going to say y equals C dot y. Full stop. Full stop. This way here, we are able to reinitialize. Actually, we initialize them, but we are initializing them differently here using a constructor that uses a constructor as a parameter. This is a copy construct. This one is a copy construct, since it makes a copy from the constructor to initialize or to do whatever it wants. The main, yeah, from the main. I'm going to create here actually the object inside the main. It has to be actually a copy from the circle. So I'm going to say yes, I'm going to say circle center. I'm going to say C2 equals CC. Full stop. I'm creating a new object from this same class, but it is a copy. It is an instance. It is having the same values as this C. Let's have an output also. I'm going to say, see here. I'm going to copy all of those. Copy. I'm going to paste here. I'm going to say here C2 dot, I don't know, get X, and C2 dot get Y. Here I'm going to change the values. I may use 9. I'm going to use 10, any numbers, 15, any numbers. Let's just test now. Okay. The circle 5 and 6 for the first ones. 9 and 15 from where? From the C2. C2, which is a copy. Here we are making the copy constructor. We are calling the copy constructor. The copy constructor has been called here. The constructor simply has been called here. And the constructor, the copy constructor, has been called here. Any questions, please?
No, mister.
That's great. That's good. So let's move to task number 2, which is actually asking us to create a C++ program to demonstrate the data encapsulation and the data abstraction. Actually, then use those two techniques to initialize the student's profile. The student profile is the ID, the age, the name. We know this profile, but the technique actually, we have to use the data encapsulation and the data abstraction. Let's do that. So I'm gonna, I finished from this one. I'm gonna redo all since we finalized. Great. So we are going to use the encapsulation and the abstraction. Just a small definition. Actually, any class that, let's say, uses visibility, thus it implements the encapsulation, and let me write in capital, yes, and the abstraction. What does it mean? If a class uses the public and the private and the protected, those are said visibility, so immediately is a conclusion. It implements the encapsulation is there, and the abstraction is there. This is for sure. It is like that, because the encapsulation and the abstraction, it's a context of limiting the scope of a declared member, whether it is a variable or a method. Encapsulated means it has to be actually to be utilized within scope. The scope has to have a start and the abstraction is that it has to be private public. So one utilizes one utilizes the other. The public method uses the private variable, and so on. Or a public variable to be called by a private method. So this way, we encapsulate and we do the abstraction. Very simple. So here to solve the question, so we don't have to worry. We have to just do the initialization of the profile, the age, the ID, the name, and display it using what? Private and public members, variables, and methods. Very easy, simple to do so. Class, I'm going to say SCD profile. That's good. Here I start, here I am. semicolon here in order to avoid the errors later. Good. Here I'm going to declare as, let's say, public or private, then private. Private, come on, private. I'm going to say int ID, int age, what else? ID, age, and name. I'm going to say char name 10, semicolon, clear. Then a public section. Here I'm going to declare set, let's say profile. Profile, it's a method that has to start here and here. I'm going to set it to be a procedure, so void. I'm going to say ID equals A. I'm going to put it here, parameter, int A for the ID, int B for the age, and char n then for the name. Okay, let's do that. So age equals B, and then what? Name equals n. Very easy. So we call. There is no return because we are using a procedure. I'm gonna display. Also, I'm gonna refer to a procedure. Display profile. Okay, great. In between here, I'm gonna just do a cout. The std. Sorry. ID is less than ID less than his name is I'm gonna say less than what name is small, less than age ID, no, this his age now. His age is less than age, less than and there. Great. I did. Let's move to the main method now. Here inside, we just instantiate the class. Copy. Class name. I'm going to say inst std, instance from std. Okay. Here, inst std. Dot what? Dot display. I'll start with this one. Let's start with this display. No parameters. ما في شيء. Nothing here. Any parameters. Then again, inst std dot the second method set profile, but this one has 3 parameters. Let's do that. Paste. For the first parameter, int a, I'm going to change it to 10. Second parameter, int b, I'm going to give, for example, 15. Char n, I'm going to say between double quotations, Murat. Very easy. Semicolon at the end. Let's test. There is something here. I need to detect it later. I need to detect what has been actually set. What is the problem here? In member function void std profile, set profile. Incompatible types in assignment of char to char 10. Okay, great. I'm going to use single quotations, but before of that, I don't want to use a string actually in this context. Let's use just one character. Yeah, another initialization argument of 3. Void. Yeah, so you have to turn it back, and here it is. Great. Actually, the main issue is not this. It's not this initialization, because this initialization I may avoid this area. But we are calling the output, the display, before the initialization. It's not okay. We have to initialize, then we display. To display what? The values, no? We don't display before we set the value. We have to set the value, then we display. Thus, I'm going to change the order. This one I'm going to cut, and I'm going to paste here. So it has to be at the end. Execute again. Let's see what's the point here. If it's the same n, I'm going to change name to n. Let it be just one character for now, and later on we'll do that. Okay. What's the point here? Expected primary expression, void set before parenthesis. Yes. Syntax. What still? And here also, I'm gonna say single quotation, and let him do the rest. Yes, the STD ID is 10. The STD name is D. From where he got this D? Let's see. His age is 15. That's great. So the best character is D. I need him to display M for now. Okay, the STD ID is 10. 10. The STD, these two, and his name is his age is 15. 15. The order actually has been changed. Exactly how we type it here. So if we want to modify the order here, we have to modify here. So I'm going to change this chart to a string. Here, string, and that's it. Let's execute now. Set profile. Yeah, I'm going to say quotations. Double quotation. Let's execute again. Okay, the STD ID is 10. His name is Mrat, full. His age is 15. So 10, here it is. Mrat, here it is. 15, here it is. It works very fine. Now, we use the class in which we declared 3 members as private and 2 members as public. Those are abstracted. Why? Because we cannot utilize them from outside the class. We have to use them only using other members from the same class, like here and like here, because those two, They are from the same class. They are inside the class. We can use so the private member. And we are using public members. Those are two, this set profile and display profile. We are using them outside of the class because they are public. This way, we encapsulated the use of those and we abstracted them to be utilized only by local members. Encapsulation by abstraction. You cannot refer from within the main to those variables. You can refer to this display, and this display calls those variables from inside the class. Any questions, please? Okay, we continue.
No, Mr.
That's great. Task number 3. We are required to implement a sheep farm task. What does it mean? We are required to demonstrate the use of a static member to calculate the total number of sheep bought today. What we are going to buy today, we are going to calculate their number. We have a number of sheep available in the farm. Whatever the farm actually, it has an X number of sheep inside the farm, and we have to implement a solution to count extra values that they are already extra values to what they are actually available, to what actually the number was available inside the farm. We have, for example, 10, and you bring 5, they become 15. Using what? Static member. Using a static member. No more or less. So you have to declare a static member, either a variable or a method. Just to solve that. So, as per the definition of a static static actually member, whatever, it's a variable or it is a method. It is an element of the class that can be utilized outside of the class, but only by making the scope belong to the class itself. We cannot use an object, an instance, from the class to reach that static member. Only the class itself. Let's solve that. So I'm going to change the title. I'm going to say sheep farm. Actually, calculate the added number of sheep. Using what? Use what did he say? The question. Static member. Simply use the static member. Very easy. So we are going to use the static member. Let's solve the question. Actually, he's asking us at the end to display the number, this calculated number, to display it. So let's do so. I'm going to delete this class. And everything from this main. Great. Now let's get started. I'm going to create a new class. I'm going to say sheep farm starts here and gets closed here. Good. I'm going to declare as private. Say sheep count. Actually, the task use a static count. No, you don't ask whether to use the private or public, whatever. This is an int since it's a counter. Okay. I'm going to declare now public members, and from within, I'm going to initialize init let's say ship. Here I'm going to say int x. Okay, starts here, goes here, and here I'm going to type this ship count to be initialized by x. Great, good. After the initialization, what did the question say? Just to what to buy today. That's it. Okay. Buy ship. Okay. Yeah, starts here, closes here. Yes. This buy ship is another procedure. Void. And here also it's a procedure. Great. By ship, we are going to increment the number of available ship by a number. How much we're going to buy? I'm going to pass as a parameter, for example, I'm going to say int b capital. So ship count, copy, paste it here, plus equal what? B capital, the number we're going to buy. Here, this ship, once we start it has to be initialized to 0, because if we don't initialize it to 0, it will give us an error in the calculation. We'll see that later. Later on, we'll modify this thing here. Okay, because the initialization with addition, it has to be done to 0. Let's go to the main. I'm going to create an instance from this class. I'm going to say add ship. Okay, instance, semicolon. Great. This add ship now, we are going to use to reach what? First of all, init ship. Parameters, int x. I'm going to say 5 ship. Okay, then init ship, not init ship. Add ship would have the chance to call buy ship. Great. How many? We're buying 10 today. Okay, semicolon. Execute. Nothing. Nothing is there. No errors at all. But nothing as output. Why? Because no return are there. No return are there. I'm gonna create a disp. So void display ship, starts here, closes here, cout, the total number of ship is then less than immediately ship count. Why? Because we are inside the class. Don't forget that. Less than, and semicolon. Okay, let's test now. Still no output. Why? Because we have to call this one. So here, add ship, paste, semicolon, execute. We have an issue, invalid use of non-static. جميل كلام. So this let's say static member, it has to be initialized, but differently. So actually, we did not declare static. Actually, we did not declare non-static. Why it gave me a non-static? Remember function void sheep farm display sheep. Display sheep. The number of sheep count. Sheep count is an int, private, that is public, and then start and close. Sheep display sheep. Sheep.display. Yeah, it's a method. Yeah, الأقواس. The parentheses. Yes, let's execute now. Great. The total number of sheep is 15. 5 plus 10. Let's say it's 15 to 5 to 15. Execute. Let's do 25. Yes, great. It is working very fine. It is working very fine. I'll stop the record and I'll upload the video now. Meanwhile, I will submit the output by today. And so take the chance to show me how to do the output, submit me the output somehow. If you hear your name, please